stop, it'll take some time. A lot more farther you can go, cause you know it's your state of mind. Through the hard times, gotta fight. Through the darkness, find the light. Through the hardships and the strife. Through the long days and the nights.
All right. This is State of Mind on Sunday. And, well, I don't know. This Sunday, but this won't be out till after. But I did Jeannie Francis. It's 2 hours of beautifulness. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It was just that kind of state of mind. Jeannie doesn't talk a lot, doesn't do interviews, and it took me a while to get her, and it was beautiful. It's on the listen to this, people. It's on the 14th, okay? November 14th. I didn't plan this. I didn't set it up, nothing. Somebody on Twitter said, "Oh my God, congratulations." I'm like, what? It's Luke and Laura's wedding that day. Come on, man. Be honest. That's just freaking crazy. All right. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the button, boom, 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 please. And who do I have today? I met this person at the Emmys. She just looking fantastic. And as soon as we talked, I knew that she was just sweet. And she's on a soap opera. I'll tell you in a second. But I really wanted her on State of Mind. And I'm glad that she said yes right away, so I didn't have to try to, force her or anything. She's on Days of Our Lives. She plays Chanel Dupree. If I didn't say it right, I don't say any names right. She's very talented, and she's been on for a while. I was going to look that up for how long, but she'll tell us. Her name is Raven Bowens. What's up?
Hey.
What's going on?
Oh my God. I actually rushed you at the Emmys. I was like, hey.
I'm glad you did, really.
Said I need to meet you.
That's great. And here you are.
Yes.
Let's talk about, where do I want to start? I want to start, you were born in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Not when you were born, but you wouldn't know. But you lived in San Diego?
On and off. So my mom married a professional baseball player. So
no. Who?
His name is Keith Mitchell.
Okay.
And so she married him. And so while they were married, we traveled with him. So for the first 6 years of my life, we lived everywhere. We lived in Atlanta. We lived in Indianapolis. We lived in Seattle. We lived. I probably by the time I was 7, I had moved 18 times. I think I used to count, and I stopped counting around then. So we moved a lot. He got traded a lot, and then when the season was done, we'd go back to San Diego, and so I kind of lived all over America.
Really?
My first few years of life.
And how is that for a young girl?
I think one of the things, I always say that my biggest character flaw is loyalty, which is a funny thing to say. But I say it's my biggest character flaw because I often stay or I'm loyal to people or situations and things that I shouldn't be because I didn't have that stability when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So I hang on to people and I feel like I can't, you know what I mean? It's if you're here, you need to be here. And we need to be here together forever. Because I always just wanted to keep my friends. I never got to keep my friends, And this was pre-social media, and it wasn't easy to just connect with people when you weren't in the same
Right.
state. So it was like I'd have a best friend, and then they'd be trying. Like I remember one girl, she found my grandmother's address and wrote me a letter and stuff like that. But then I didn't write her back because I didn't know how to,
Yeah.
send mail. As a kid.
But that is you got no stability.
Yeah, no, none.
And so, okay, so you moved to Atlanta, and then you have a great friend. Then you got to go.
Yeah, all the time. That was always what it was. So when my mom and him finally did separate, and we were just on our own, I went to one school and we moved again. And I just said, Mom, can I just stay at my school? I want to keep my friends. If we're still going to live here, even if you have to
Yeah.
drive me, like I want to stay at my school. And she let me. So she drove, out of her way every day to take me to school, like in middle school and stuff like that, so that I could keep my friends, because I finally felt like I was able to by then.
And did you finally were you finally able to have friends that you were with for a while?
Yeah. So I would say, like, because I went to the elementary school and then the middle school that fed into the elementary school, fed into that middle school. So I had all those friends. And then high school, I stayed in contact with them. And then, so yeah, I was able to then build community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not a good thing when you're young.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
And so you would go into school and then
I would just all of a sudden not go to the school anymore. You know what I mean? And I never said bye. It was just, I didn't know when I was moving. Like, I just was moving.
but what? It's not his fault, right? Because he has to do. Oh.
I think he had, he got traded a lot, and I think I was young, so I don't know everything.
Yeah.
But just as I think about it as I get older, like he would get in trouble, so then they would like release him from the team. But then he'd play well, so then another team might pick him up, and he went up and down a lot. I think AA, AAA, what is it? Double A. So he would go up and down from AA to majors, AA to majors, because he'd get kicked out. So
wow.
it was a little bit of him, a little bit of just life.
Yeah, I mean,
sport.
That's his profession,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to know that it's going to affect the kid. How many? Just you?
It was
your brother, sister?
It was me and my brother. So my mom had me with my dad, and then she had my brother with him.
Oh.
But my mom and him got together from probably the time I was about 9 months or so. So like I knew he was, who I knew for such a long time.
I've never actually talked. I've done a lot of these. I've never actually talked about this baseball player and how it affects the children.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he could just be like, "No, I'm staying here."
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't he?
I don't think so. I don't think he had that kind of pull.
Oh, I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to
It's
go
like,
where they tell you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. You know how it is. It's like, we'll say on your show, there's certain people who can say
Yeah, I get you.
things. There's certain people who can't. I don't think he had that star power.
I get you. So you're in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you were a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Like what like ballet or?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ballet?
A little bit. I did a lot of jazz, ballet. I was on the dance team, so hip hop. I did all kind of dance. I was a cheerleader, ice skater.
How was cheerleading?
Cheerleading, I love cheerleading.
You jump on the top and everything?
I lifted the girls because I'm
you
strong.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't trust anybody else to lift me, I trust myself to lift them, but I didn't trust them to lift me. And I coached cheerleading. When I first moved to LA, I was coaching cheerleading.
Really?
Yeah. That was my move to LA was so, what's the word? Like where things just kind of fall into place because they're meant to be. Like it was just a series of synchronicities. So
how old were you when you moved to LA?
I was 19.
You and your mom?
Just me.
Just you?
Yeah.
Now wait a
My
minute.
friend.
Let me tell you something. because I have had this conversation.
Mhm.
I'm just not. I'm not dependent. I can't. I got to have somebody do shit for me, and that's my negative, right?
Mhm.
Like I can't wash clothes. I can't do anything. So
Well, you're just a man. That's all.
yeah, but I'm just a man, but worse, even worse. Now, when you said that you came by yourself, that's why that reaction was so big because to me, that's like, wow. To
Mm.
you, probably you came, you did what you got to do, but to me, it's like, wow. So at 19, you come to LA,
Mhm.
and then what happens?
So I didn't plan it at all. I I went to high school. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was just kind of trying to figure it out. And then my boyfriend that I had when I was in high school, he started college before me, and he said, you should maybe do some acting." Like he was like, because he was like, "I'm in this theater class." He played football, but he was like, "I'm in this theater class," and he's like, "All the people there, they just remind me of you, and it just seems like something you would like." And I was like, Okay, like, you know. And then he ended up passing away.
How did he pass away?
He drowned.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just,
He was playing football at the University of Oregon, and they were floating the river, which is like they would jump off this kind of like overpass thing going to,
yeah, yeah.
and then he got caught in a current, and so he was underwater for like I think about 10 minutes, and eventually they were able to pull him out, but his body had filled with so much water that he didn't survive.
And how long were you guys dating?
About 2.5 years.
How did that hit you?
That was tough. That's like to this day
The
probably.
toughest thing you,
Yeah, yeah.
even now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I could cry right now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But
You know, I just fucking I forget his name. I saw a documentary. Same. He's a famous document. He sings Hallelujah.
mhm.
Hallelujah. His fucking voice is outrageous. Yeah, that's him. And he walked into the water, and the same thing happened to him.
Really?
He got the current got him, and they couldn't.
Mhm.
Damn. So what it? I've had so many people pass away. It's not even funny in my life. It's you just. I know it's part of life, and it hurts,
Mhm.
but I always believe they leave me with a gift, and I don't know what that gift is.
Mhm.
One time it was hawks, 3 hawks flying up in the sky, and another time it's something else. And anyway, okay, so you're in LA.
Yes. I came here and I was helping a friend move. And she was looking for a job, and I was walking to Jamba Juice, and then this guy pulls up and says, "Hey, are you looking for a job?" And I was like, "What kind
Like
of
a regular job?
Yeah. And so he's like, "Are you looking for a job?" And I was like, "Huh?" And he was like, "No, no, no, not like that." And he was like, "It's just I work at a middle school." And he said, "It's in South Central LA, and we're having a really hard time finding tutors for the kids." And he was like, "And you look about like college age, and like, so I was just wondering if you would be interested." And I said, "Well, I don't live here, but my friends are moving out here and they're looking for a job right now. Can you stay right here?" He said, "Okay." So I went and I got them, and I brought them over. I said, "This guy, he's looking for people to work at his school." And so we exchanged contact with him, and it turned out they were going to have a training at Cal State LA the next day. And I said, "Well, that sounds legit. It's a college, it's at the
Yeah.
college, so I think we'll be safe." So I said, "Oh, maybe I'll just come too, and I'll see what happens." So we all go, we do the training, and then I was like, maybe I should just move here if I have a job. And so
Really?
so then I was going to San Diego State at the time, and I said, let me go to the college here. I went to Cal State Dominguez because it's in the same like family of schools. So I was trying to get a hold of someone, and then I went to the school and I went to the dean's. I said, "Can someone show me where the dean's office is?" And And I was over there. I said, okay. So I just waited in front of his office. And then when he came back, he was like, hey. And I said, hey, can I come here? Can I go to the school? And he said, I said, because I'm going to San Diego State, but I want to move to LA. And I can't get anyone on the phone. How do I apply? How can I come here?
Damn.
And he said, okay, yeah, I'll push your stuff through. And so then I was like, okay, I got the school, I got the job. And then the girls who were moving out here, we were all going to be staying with one of their godmothers. She
Right.
had an extra bedroom. So all of us stayed. She said anyone could come, but we all had to stay in that one bedroom. And so
One bed. How many girls in a bedroom?
3.
All right.
And so I was like, I have a place to stay, a job, school, like might as well do it. So I went home and I said, Mom, I'm moving to LA. She said, what? When? I said, tomorrow. And she said, no, you're not. I said, yeah, and I'm gonna have a party tonight as a going away party. She was like, she didn't believe me. She really didn't believe me. It was not planned. I didn't save any money. I didn't do anything. It was just like it was a year after my boyfriend had passed away. So I kind of was having a lot of,
Yeah.
it was hard being home at that time and like going to certain places and just, so
that
it was
remind you of.
yeah. So I was like, it's a good time to go. And then I did. And then that's how I ended up here.
So you're in LA, and then you're like, did you weren't acting before LA, or were you?
So he had mentioned it to me. And then after he passed away, I was thinking about it. And I was like, I remember he said that. Maybe that was one of the gifts.
Yes.
And so I had told his sister, I said, I'm thinking about acting. And she says, you should go in the real world. And then I said, okay. And so we were looking up, how do you go in the real world?
I'm a big fan of the real world.
Are you actually?
Yeah. From the first one to a bunch of them. Yes.
Well, so it turned out, I think
you
was
got it?
I was the runner-up to get it. So we went online and they were doing a competition. Like you had to upload some stuff and then the fans would vote who they wanted on the show. And it was like end of the, running or whatever. And I said, well, we threw my name in there and video and stuff. And then they called me and they met with me. And then they were like, they sent me all the contracts and everything. And I had to sign it. And then it was between me and another girl. And I was so glad that I didn't get it, like in hindsight. But that was the first thing where I was like, oh, I like got pictures taken and, stuff like that. And I was like, and my grandmother who lives in Vegas, she has a modeling and talent agency and they kind of do a little like acting, like that type of stuff. And so I talked to her and she brought me to an event that they had, like, those big events that they'll host where people come do a monologue and agents are there, like showcase kind of things. So when I said I was interested in acting, she said, well, I'll take you to this event with me. And so learn a monologue and I don't know what a monologue is, but I figured it out. And I go, but I'm little, like, and so, kids, like, I think a lot of times, when you're in that pocket, it's like agents are interested.
Yes.
So I met a few agents and then they said, you got to come to LA, have another meeting with us. And I had come out probably a month before my friends were moving here. And I met with one of the agents and she said, get out here, get in an acting class, and then I'll sign you. And so that was also in the back of my head too. So when I was moving here with the plan of like, okay, I'm going to move here. I got this cheerleading coaching job and I got this, it was a tutor job that I turned into a cheerleading coaching job.
Yeah.
And then school. And then I can get this agent if I get in an acting class. So that was kind of how the acting stuff started.
So that was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
So how did you get Days of Our Lives?
So that's down the line, right?
That's down the line?
That's down the line.
Did you played Simone? No, you didn't play Simone, but you were in.
I played her sister. I played Adria Biles, her
How was that?
Biles' sister.
How was that? Is it cool?
That I got to meet Simone and
she's cool.
She's so cool.
Yeah.
She's so cool. Like we shot it in Canada, so I got to that was like one of the first places I ever traveled out of the country. And
oh, really?
Yeah. And my mom and grandma, they came out. My mom got her passport to come out there. So she hadn't even traveled. And so it was just a beautiful experience. And everybody who I worked with there, it was because it was such a tiny cast, so we got really, really close, and it was I would say it was like one of my first jobs. So it was like I was there, I was, just learning.
That's a pretty good job to be one of your first jobs, right?
Yeah, it was great. I was in Canada for like 6 weeks shooting
Yeah.
a movie. Like, yeah, it was great.
And was it difficult?
It
The acting.
It was. Well, no, yes and no. Like it was, they were very flexible because they were like, look, we realize, this may not be how you would talk. And they said, so it's okay if you switch it up a little bit. And they were okay with that. And so,
How did they want you to talk?
well, they were just saying that.
It's a bit of a slang or accent?
They were saying it was okay to do a little bit more of that because they didn't write. They wrote it very.
Straightforward.
And then they were like, but y'all are more of like the girls' ages, the girls. So if it seems like they wouldn't say this, don't say it. Just change
That's
it.
cool as hell.
Yeah. So that was kind of a cool thing to not be inhibited,
Yeah.
in that way. And then, but the part that was difficult for me at that time is that I wasn't a good actress. And I wasn't a strong actress. So there was certain things. I look back at past jobs now that I've been on days for 4.5 years. I look back and I go, wow, like the way that I would try so hard to get there, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And now it's like I can do it.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. I think the more experience you have,
yes,
the more you just look back and realize how much experience you didn't have. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't think I was a bad actress at the time, but
of course not. Yeah.
But now, like I'm like, oh, I struggled so much with that, and like certain things that I did in the movie, they were cut, and I'm like, it was cut because I didn't, and they were nice to me. She was like, oh, we didn't have time to put in. I'm like, no, I know I didn't give the performance that you needed there. You know what I mean?
I played two famous people, John Gotti.
Yes.
And Desi Arnaz and I Love Lucy. They were both just too difficult, man. Yeah. I was the lead in each of them. But as a young actor, everything had to be charged, right? As you get older, you have to work easy, not work hard. Once it's easy, then you're doing it right. You don't have to gear it up to fifth gear. That's what I did. Now, it was good for my character on General Hospital, right? But it wasn't good for my mental health, I'll tell you that. You get me?
Yep.
That's where he really I wish I had learned that early in my life. But I just feel it, as you know, in anything, it has to be easier than when it's hard. That means you're trying too much.
Yes.
And you're trying to get to something.
Yes.
Right?
Pushing.
Exactly.
And you can see it,
Yeah.
My acting coach, she like what you're saying, she talks about like cooking and sewing. And like some actors are cooking and then other actors are sewing. And both things are valuable.
Yeah.
And you got no one to hold them and when to fold them. And so
yeah. And sometimes
you can't sew if you don't know the craft.
That's right.
You can cook a lot of times.
Right. That's right.
Everybody can yell and scream and make but not everybody can massage and
Right. Take it with a certain technique. So you auditioned for Trina.
I did. How did you find that out? How did you find that out?
How was that, man?
Mark Teschner
he can act.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he's one of my favorite casting directors
Yeah.
to this day.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like from the beginning of my career, he would bring me in and he would always just be so lovely, like so kind, so generous in the audition process, and always just made me feel so comfortable and safe, and just gave me shots. And I am really grateful for that to
Yeah.
this day. I saw his daughter at the Emmys, and I couldn't stop raving about him because I just think he's just a wonderful man.
I agree. You would have been great as Trina.
Well,
I mean, I love Tabiana now.
I love Tabiana too, but it
Uh,
wasn't her. It was someone else.
it was,
When I had
yeah,
auditioned.
you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm bad with names.
Yeah, I do know.
But you would have been actually, damn. Do you think it wasn't your time?
It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. And yeah, I went, I met Frank, and did the whole thing. And yeah, I just think it wasn't. I think I was a little older than they needed the character to be. And also, yeah, I just think it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although you look
But it
very,
was, but I thought I was like, I'm gonna be on General. I knew I was gonna be on a soap opera. Like, I always knew. I didn't know which one. I thought it was gonna be General Hospital. But my acting coach, she always would she would get the soap digest and she would give it to me. She would give it to me. She was like, study it, look at it, read it all the time. She's like, you need to know this because you might be on one of these. And so in my head, I was like, okay. Yeah. And that's
wow.
actually how I got my awareness of you, was from her, because she said that she started watching General Hospital. She said she never watched General Hospital before. Her name is Gloria Gifford. She's an actress as well. And she had never watched General Hospital. And she said she saw the ads and they were like Sunnylicious. And it was this whole thing going on. And
That's
she
right.
said, who is this? I'm intrigued.
That's
And so you're the reason that she started watching the show.
Sonny, they had lollipops, man. And it had my face on it. And it said Sunnylicious. And then people had these lollipops. Wow, that's amazing. So before we, there's two more things I want to talk to you about, but before I do that, let's talk about this thing you just did Thursday night.
Yes.
I want you to get into that.
Okay, so on Thursday night, I had a charity event so basically my friend and I, we are rebuilding a school in Nigeria. So we just started working on this project a couple of months back, and we started coming up with concepts and ideas and ways that we can raise this money. And then
Wow.
we're going to go to Nigeria once we've gotten a significant amount. We'll go out there, and we're actually going to help with the rebuilding, do the painting, and do all of that. So
That's freaking incredible.
yeah, I'm so excited about it. And it was one of those things. For every year, I would put the image on my vision board, because I'm a big vision boarder, and I would always put the image, but I didn't have the full concept. Yeah, I didn't know I was going to go build a school, but I just knew. I always knew I wanted to go to Africa, but I wanted to go with a purpose, and I wanted to go to do something.
Yeah.
And this ended up, she
What's it
came to
called?
me and asked me if I wanted to partner with her. So the school is called ADC Grammar School. It's in Nigeria, and my friend has a foundation. So her foundation is called the Keturah Hamilton Foundation, and she started it in Jamaica, and she's from Jamaica, and so she's done a lot of work over there. And then we partnered together last summer, and we did a back to school drive in South Central LA, and we did backpacks for 300 kids and school supplies and a day of fun. And when we did that event together, she realized that she really liked working with me. And so she was like, let's do the school in Africa. And I said, yeah, let's do it. So now we're doing it. And we had this event. It was, we did a dinner. We did a black tie dinner. And I asked my friends if they would sing, and they did. And we got a band, and it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful night. And it's so fulfilling. Just
It is. Listen, what you're doing is God's work. I mean, that's what I did with this. My whole concept of mental health, and helping people that are mentally ill,
yeah.
who I talk a lot about suicide
Mhm.
because I know nobody else does,
Mhm.
and I think it's important.
Mhm.
But what you're doing is unfreaking amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, for somebody at your age, and I don't even know your age, but you seem young to me, um, to even have that thought to want to do this, go to Africa, build something. That I mean, it's just you should be very proud of yourself
Thank you.
and continue to do that because what happens is that will always fulfill you more than anything else as far as fame, acting, and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
You'll be excited to act, but this will fulfill you in your soul
Mhm.
because of what you're doing
Mhm.
for other people. It gets me emotional.
I think after we finished the event, I didn't sleep for almost 24 hours because I was so
Exactly.
excited.
Good for
Like,
you.
you know, it just, yeah.
Yeah, man, that kind of stuff. You know what I love about that too. I'm someone, not probably not as much as I'd like to, but I'm someone who says they're going to do something, and then they do it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And a lot of people say the right things, but they never do it.
Mhm.
And it's like, stop it. If you're going to talk, do it.
Mhm.
Some people in here, I've interviewed many people, great ideas.
Mhm.
You thinking it's going anywhere?
And I struggle with that, but the way that I've outsmarted myself is by having people around me who will push me and who will make sure I get it done because I know myself. I have ideas and I always have an idea and I get distracted. And so when I like
Yes.
my friend,
Yes.
she's very great at like what she says about me is she says you don't work every day, but when you work, you work. And so she's like,
It's
oh,
kind
she's
of,
awake
yeah.
today. Cause I'll be
Yeah.
like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like getting all these donations, getting all these, and she's like, oh, Raven's up. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. I'm kind of saying, I can be real lazy,
Mhm.
but when I start to, my wife is like, honey, relax. Take it easy. I'm doing what I can. Just take it easy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Let's get into days and how you got it and how'd you feel and the whole thing.
So originally I auditioned, screen tested, didn't get it. And I was surprised because the audition went really well and the casting director was like, you're a powerhouse. And she was
Marnie?
very, yes, yes. And she was very,
She's a good actress too.
yes, I love Marnie. And she made me feel like it was mine.
Right.
And then it wasn't. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was kind of having, I call it an artist breakdown, where it's just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to work, if I'm ever going to work again. Like, that's
Oh,
because it had been a while since I booked a job. And I was like, and I'm like crying. And my friend was like, you're going to work. We've worked in the past. You'll work again.
yeah,
And
sure.
I'm like, oh, I don't know, because I was like, yeah, sure, I'll get a job, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna get anything that to where I don't have to be a waitress anymore. And then, and so then my friend goes to get the food, and then I get an email that says chemistry test, and then I was like, this is embarrassing because I'm in here crying.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, I just got an email about a chemistry test, and then my friend's like, see. But then I didn't get it, and then I ended up getting a little role on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and so I went to New York to shoot that, and I was out in New York, and it was all like it's interesting too how that happened because my grandma she passed away the day that I got the job for the job in New York, and I posted the picture of me doing the audition, and then someone's like, "You look just like your grandma here." And then I was like, oh, I was like, and they didn't know what was going on. And then I shoot that on my birthday. Days sends me another audition. And it seemed very similar, the breakdown of the character, but it said, must be comfortable with same sex situation, whatever. Sexually fluid, the character sexually fluid. And I said, okay, I don't care. And I said, well, I called my manager and I said, why do they need to see me audition again? They already saw me audition.
I know, man.
I said, I did a chemistry test. Like, what do they need to see this for? I said, no, I don't want to do it.
Wow. You did?
Yeah.
Good for you.
And my manager was like, I said, anything they need to see me do, they've already seen me
But
do.
that's true, I know.
I looked at these
Yeah.
sides, they're not that different than what I
Right.
did. And so she's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. She's like, I'm going to tell them that. And then I was like, whoa, wait. I was like, do you think that's going to seem like, is that going to be too much? So I kind of second guessed it. And she's like, no. She's like, I won't demand it. I'll just suggest it. I'll see what they say. So she called me back and she said, actually, yeah, they said that they're happy to offer it to you. They just wanted to make sure that you were comfortable with the new breakdown. It's the same role. It's a recast. And I said, yeah. And so that was on my birthday. Then I started on my grandma's birthday. So
Damn.
yeah. And so then so when I started my my S Corp, I named it after my grandma, Pearlie Mae. So it just was just interesting how things aligned. But then when I went in, so I'm in New York. I have to get to LA in a couple of days. I think maybe I had they were going to get me to wrap that Maisel episode, come to LA. I had to learn 15 episodes for my first week.
Damn.
Because it was a recast and they were behind on her part. And I had to match how she looked. So I had a completely different look. So I had to rush to LA, find someone who could do my hair to make it look like the girls and do the whole thing. And I did it. And once I did it, I was like, okay, I can do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was how we got to Days.
So you've been doing it 4 years?
Almost 5. I'll be 5 in April. Mm-hmm.
Damn. Let's see. Do I know anybody on?
Steve Burton was on with us.
Yeah,
for a bit.
Steve's my real close friend.
Yeah, he was on for a bit.
I'll kick his ass. Who else? Sean Kanan? No, not Sean. Tamara. She's on Days.
She's on Y&R now.
Oh,
but
yeah,
she was on Days for a bit. Mm-hmm. And I think we had Brandon Barosh was on General. Too.
Yes, yeah. I don't know too many people on that. And not too many people from Days have done State of Mind, which is, I don't know what that's about. But
you got beef?
Yeah, I don't know. Every other soap has done,
Really?
Except Days, man.
You haven't brought anybody?
No. I've asked Deirdre Hall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Many I've asked, and you're like the one, which is great because you're here. I want to give you so much publicity just because of that. All right. So before we go, we should get into some mental health, even though you may not have any mental health, and then any mental health like anxiety, depression, in your family, who.
Yes, my whole family. No, not my
Really?
whole family, but a lot. So my mom's dad, he definitely struggled with mental health. And so I think, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I do think it is a bit of a genetic thing a lot of times.
I do too. I just had this conversation yesterday. But I read that it's not, but it's, trauma from childhood or whatever. But I think there is some genetic.
My mom takes care of my uncle, and my uncle is schizophrenic and bipolar. And,
both?
Yeah.
But you know how rough that is? Schizophrenic's at the top of the chain.
Mm-hmm.
Then bipolar, what I have, is second. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. And how does he function?
it's different, different on different days. So, like my mom, for instance, she came out for the charity event, but she wasn't able. She wanted to come back out for. She lives in San Diego, so she came out for the charity event, and she wanted to come back out for Day's anniversary yesterday. But he was having like she had someone help take care of him on Thursday, but she needed to be there because it's a little rough right now because they make a lot of mistakes with the medications and the things like that, and if it's not right because he has to take a lot of medications and like when they were giving him the wrong dosage for a while and so now it doesn't work, it hasn't been working, and so they're trying to get him regulated, so it ebbs and it flows, and it's always an adventure, there's always something happening there. And he spent a lot of time in jail. For most of my life, he was in jail, and then but now he's an older man, and he's out, and like my mom, she now takes care of him. So, but he spent his teenage years, his 20s, his 30s, his 40s, and a significant amount of his 50s in jail.
Damn.
So he's like out in the world, and now, and but he's always had mental health since he's young, and it's my mom does a beautiful job with him. She is but it's like that's her child now, you know what I mean?
Jeez.
So sometimes like right now, like he's like 9 years old right now. And sometimes he's, you know, you never know. Sometimes he can't talk at all because he's in a,
Yeah.
state, and sometimes he thinks he's someone else, and then you get that. He's had the CIA show up, Secret Service show up
They-
at my mom's house because he said he was going to do something to the president, like, all that kind of stuff. And my mom has to say, it's my brother, he's has mental health issues.
Yeah.
He's always calling ambulances and
I,
having fake heart attacks and things.
I had a schizophrenic person, good guy, coming in here with his mom,
Mm-hmm.
and he wrote a book
Mm-hmm.
on schizophrenia,
Mm-hmm.
and I like it. The book was good. And he came in, and his mom kind of took me aside and said, "Look, he could just leave, like halfway, whatever. He'll leave."
Mm-hmm.
She said, "I just was in a." He was talking to a psychiatrist, and he left.
I dated someone who had schizophrenia.
You did?
I did. I did. I didn't know right away.
Well, it was probably not as.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think too, like a lot of times it doesn't happen until people are about 25, and he wasn't 25 yet. But what happened was he was also bipolar. I'm pretty sure, but I think a lot of times if you have schizophrenia, you have bipolar too, not the other way around. But I noticed the like mood shifts and things like that, and I have a lot of people in my family who are bipolar, so I know it. I know what it looks like. I
Wow.
know I know
Yeah.
the behaviors, and so like I kind of clocked it, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And I said something to him about his mood swings, and he kind of snapped at me, and I was like, okay, like it's definitely a trigger for you, so
Yeah.
I think that's there. But I'm no doctor. But then we were in well, he would say things like where he once told me that because he was an actor, and he said, "Oh, my castmates, like I feel like they're all kind of plotting against me, and there's
Oh,
like
jeez.
this energy, like it's kind of like an evil kind of." He was like telling me this stuff, like he's like, "There's like a sinister vibe that I'm getting from them," and I was like, "Okay." And this is like at the beginning of us dating, and I'm like, "Well, like, what do you think it is?" And like, and I'm trying to be like supportive of him and give him ideas of how he can like manage that. And so then I go with him to the premiere, and I meet everybody, and I'm like, "Oh, they're so sweet to you." And he's like, "Yeah, this is my family." And I said, "Oh, like cuz I thought like you told me that they were all kind of like envious and things." He was like, "I never said that." And I said, "Yes, you did." He
Oh.
said, "Why would you try to put that in my head?" And I said, "What? No, you told me this." And he was like, "No, I didn't." And he was like, "Why are you doing that?" Or like, and I was like, "Uh-oh,
Now he's coming after you.
now it's me." And then one time he said something, he was like, "Yeah." And then like, he was like, "And then the voices are saying, no, not the voices. I don't hear voices." And then I was like, "Oh, you do hear voices." And now later down the line, like he's got all that
Wow.
going on. Yeah. He's like gone completely.
Well, you know, this whole, like, my wife, I won't get into it again, but I did something during one of my manic episodes that was just not good with my wife. But she has stayed with me this long, 40 years. But because I want help.
Yes.
But if I didn't want help, I always say, leave me.
Yeah.
Leave the person who doesn't want to get the help. Because you shouldn't have to go through that if all he has to do is get help. So luckily for her and for me too, I've always wanted help. I'm like scared, like a scared little kid. I don't want to feel this way. Help me, help me, help me. But your guy you were going out with, if he doesn't want, if he's not getting help, you got to go, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he's got to figure
And
that
I
out.
tried. I like tried to stay a little
Yeah.
longer than I should have because I was like, I could tell he didn't have anyone to help him, you know. But then it's like, but also you don't create that space for anyone to help you either, you know what I
Right.
mean? And then it's like you're taking things out on me and, you know, and all that. So I had to remove myself. But yeah, that's it's a difficult thing when and I, you know, we deal with that a lot with my uncle and other members of my family where it's like they're adults. You can't force them to take medicine. You can't force
That's the
them
problem.
to go to the hospital.
That's the problem.
Like they got to do. and
That
make the
is
choices.
the main problem. When you're over 18,
Mhm.
there's nothing really you can do
Mhm.
except love and be patient.
Mhm.
But if they don't want help,
Mhm.
you're going to have to deal with that the rest of your life. And I don't think that's fair.
Mhm.
And this is coming from somebody who is bipolar, who I know what that whole thing's about.
Mhm.
And as good as my wife is, I may believe she still would have stayed with me if I didn't want help. She'd still be trying, you know. But there comes a point
Mhm.
because when you have kids,
Mhm.
now you have to think of the kids,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Right. Mhm. But I feel like I always have had a like soft spot in my heart for it because, and I've always been nervous that I had something going on. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
always would be, because my mom would even, like when I was younger, she'd be like, you're not sleeping. Are you okay? Like, you know, because she
Yeah.
knows all the signs and things
Yeah.
like that. And she'd be like, because I had a little bit of that
Not
perfectionist
sleeping is a big
thing,
sign.
you know, and stuff like that. And she'd be like, make sure you like, and she was always like kind of telling, like checking me. And so I was always kind of, I think I tried to like, it took me a while to feel as free as I feel today because I was scared that if I was free that I would like lose
I
my
get you.
mind. You
I
know?
get you. I understand that wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting. I also feel like I don't want to go there, but it's just around the corner.
Mhm.
I call it Freddy Krueger.
Mhm.
Freddy Krueger comes.
Mhm.
He hasn't come in a while.
Mhm.
He stayed in his bedroom, motherfucker. But it's like, is it going to be, you know, I don't think that because it's been a while now and I feel really good.
Mhm.
But, you know, to have to deal with that again and then,
How do you manage it?
I manage it with, well, for bipolar, I take lithium.
Mhm.
That has saved my ass. I've had 3 nervous breakdowns. I've been in the mental institution at 22 years old.
Mhm.
But in 32 years staying on my medication of lithium,
Mhm.
no breakdown.
Mm.
It's amazing.
Wow.
What has got me is anxiety. And I've gone through depression,
Mhm.
and it's a mother, and it's heavy, and it's hard. But anxiety in the last 2, 3 years is the one that that's what I call Freddy Krueger anxiety.
Mhm.
And it's been,
How does it manifest?
I believe, stress.
Mhm.
I believe when all this has come when I've been under a lot of stress.
Mhm.
It's just the way it is. You know, I eat right, try to eat right, I try, and sleep also. I know if I'm not getting sleep, I'm in trouble.
Mhm.
But it's the stress of whatever it is that comes, and I'm thinking I'm fine,
Mhm.
lying to myself, and then boom, it comes. I'm like, oh. But one thing I've learned, two things. I'm reading a book. This is Zen master wrote it. We have to stop thinking of darkness as a bad thing.
Mhm.
We have to think darkness as teaching us something.
Mm.
And I love that
Mhm.
because what I've done with anxiety is created a monster.
Mm.
So when anxiety comes, it's the end of the world for me. Oh my God, oh my God, and I've been in times, of like suicidal,
Mhm.
wanting to, every day getting up in the morning. I can't live like that, and that can't happen again.
Mhm.
That really can't. So it is stress, but I try to do everything I can. Acupuncture is good, man.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've tried
Yeah.
acupuncture.
Mhm.
That
I've done it a few
shit,
times. Mhm.
right? It's been good for me.
Mhm.
Uh, hypnosis I've done.
Oh,
Do
how
you
was it?
know? Listen to this. I didn't fly for 10 years.
Mhm.
I got off 2 planes,
Mhm.
anxiety.
Mhm. Oh.
And every time I would fly, sometimes I would have to fly,
Mhm.
I'd have anxiety. So it's like,
Mm.
so my friend says he's a hypnosis. He says, let me do you. I said, it's not gonna, you're not gonna be. I want to laugh, dude. When you start talking that shit. He goes, let me do it. So I go in because I was gonna fly on a Friday. This is on a Tuesday, and I wake up and I feel real relaxed. And he goes, I said, well, all right, we'll see. Told my wife, she got pissed off. Why are you, because he's my friend, why are you doing that right before you're going to fly? I said, Paula, relax, relax. I mean, I'm happy right now. I've gone on over 20 planes without anxiety. It's gone. So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's all good.
Do you think that the anxiety is tied with the manic? Like,
They say it is, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I never really thought it was,
Mhm.
but now that I've talked to a psychiatrist I have right now,
Mhm.
it's like the cousin,
Mhm.
and they're right there.
Mhm.
And if you mess with this, because I'm always trying to get off my medication, not my lithium for anxiety for bipolar,
Mhm.
but for anxiety, I try to not take this medication, man.
Mhm.
And he goes, "Oh." He says, if you don't take it, and something happens again, you're going to be on 10 different pills. So I said,
Mhm.
10. So yeah, it's all tied in.
Mhm.
Thank God I haven't had depression in a while. Or anyway, enough about me. I just want to say that this has been easy, right?
Yeah.
It's no, it's not. It wasn't. It's just a regular conversation, and we both click, and we both. Um, I think that when you guys see Raven in this, she's very likable, but in here she's very likable, just because it was just flowing good. Um, I appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I see great things in your future with all this good stuff you're doing, and keep doing that stuff. Acting also, but all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.